Hey fans, we're back to Eternia for a Masters of the Universe Classics review. This is the line that came out before the Origins line, which is just killing it. And this is an adult collector item, Rotar and Twistoid. So this one was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive in 2015, 5 years ago. And I didn't get the original one when it first came out because the price was a little too high for what it was. Rotar and Twistoid are characters that don't really mean much to me, and I like my toys to have characters that, if possible, mean something or did something in a show or a comic. And because these guys, the original figures came out in 1987, the tail end of Masters of the Universe, so 87 was technically the second last year, and then in 1988 Laser Light Skeletor, Laser Power He-Man came out. But since these guys were tail end characters, I thought, well, you know, I'll get them eventually. Plastic finds a way, and this plastic found a way into my collection thanks to Big Bad Toy Store. So the price on them went down a lot, and they are on a mega sale and have been for a while now over on Big Bad Toy Store. Fantastic deal. There's nothing like getting two figures that were San Diego Comic-Con exclusives in a hefty box. This box is quite big and hefty for a price like which is going on Big Bad Toy Store right now. And these guys are on eBay as well, but for 2 or 3 times the price. So it really is an amazing deal. And just looking through the window, awesome window display on it. Very similar to these guys up here, the rock people, which I have on the wall up behind. And they look quite nice in the box there. Everything is strapped down. Very vintage style artwork on the side, super gyro base. So the original figures had little gyroscopic spinning spin top gimmicks. These are included with legs. So, I mean, those are trap jaw legs. I can recognize them right away, or Roboto. But it's nice that if you don't want to display them as little half pints spinners, that you can actually have them as figures to display alongside all of your other classics figures as well. Taking a quick look at the back of the box, we see some of the other later classics figures that were released. King Randor in his throne room outfit, Clamp Champ, King Hiss, Mosquitor, Scareglow. And there's a picture of these two guys. Cool that they were included in a 2-pack and little bios on each of them. Rotar's real name is Ron Tur, and Twistoid's real name is Gyro Robot. So little bios on them. Pop open the side of the box. Resealable box. And who are we going to take a look at first? Let's take a look at, well, that's not right. The names weren't right on here. I feel like they've done that before. Rotar is the heroic master of hyperspin. Twistoid is the evil energy cyborg. They're backwards. So they were mislabeled on the box or mispackaged. Kicking it off with Twistoid, who comes with a bunch of stuff. Quite a bit of stuff. A lot more stuff than I was expecting. And it's actually very true to the original figures. So I never had the 2 twisty dudes from the original line, but thanks to the magic of the internet and Google and looking up what the originals came with, it's really cool that just like with all the other classics figures, they've stayed true to them and included weaponry, accessories that are very similar to what the originals came with. So the original one came with this type of hook type of blade weapon. He came with this funky looking style of thing too, and he came with the spinning top part. So he does include this lower waist, which just give it a tug, and I guess these were a precursor to Masters of the Universe Origins figures. Very easy to pull off, and then you can just insert the torso into that hole right there. And is it this way or the other way? I think it's this way. There you go. Satisfying pop right there. I'm going to remove the weapon just in case that messes with his balance. And let's see how well he spins. Classics figures weren't supposed to have any sort of play feature, any type of gimmick. If the original one had a gimmick, the new one didn't. I don't know how well this is going to work. He's pretty wobbly, especially with his arms, and you can't really compact them very much. They're throwing his balance off. You might be able to disperse the weight a little bit more evenly by putting his elbows back. I don't know how well this is going to work. Yeah, just as I guessed, not well at all. You might have more luck with this thing. So they've included this little stand which you can pop in there. And whoa! Maybe you'll have to hold that down. So that works a little bit better, and plus you'll be able to put his arms out, and that looks a little more impressive. Spinning him, not having much luck here. I guess I'm putting too much torque on it. As far as the spinning gimmick goes on it, forget it. It's not going to be like the original one. These are more display pieces than functioning twisty guys. One thing to note is the back of the head looks a lot like a face. Eyes and a mouth there, so you could turn it around. He sort of gets in his own way here. It might be easier to just pop the head off, but we're not dealing with an Origins figure here. Some of these break. I've had some of them break when I try to take the head off, but you could. I mean, the front and back looks very similar anyway. If you straighten the arms out, you almost can't tell which side is front and which side is back. I didn't mention the articulation. It's your standard Classics articulation: bicep swivel, elbow, and then wrist swivel as well. So since he's not really going to have much luck with the spinning, I'm going to pop his weapon back in his hand. A little tricky to get it in there. And you have the option of either the legs, the spinning top thing, which doesn't really, I don't know, I don't really dig it. I never liked the look of these guys in their original form, and so doing this, I'm sure if you had the originals or always wanted the originals, that probably looks really awesome. But I think I'll go with the legs for display on these guys. But you also have the option, that's not going to fit, but you can pull this out right here, the spinning top part, which reveals a little peg there, which will plug into here. And once again, the play feature has been removed from the original one, but if you want, you can just stick him in there for old time's sake, if you experience those old times, and something that harkens back a little bit more to the way the original one looked. Just stick that off to the side. And next up, I'm going to be taking a look at Rotar, Heroic Master of Rotation, or Hyperspin. Same deal with him. He looks more like a standard Masters of the Universe figure, almost like a generic Build-A-Figure or Palace Guard or something. Just like Twistoid, his helmet, the back of it looks like it could be a front as well. So you can, if you're feeling brave, try to turn it around. Oh boy. There you go. There's Rotar with his helmet turned the other way, but then the problem is well, I don't know if that's a problem. He's got eyes in the back of his head. There's no sneaking up on this guy, but for the purpose of display, I'm going to be having him go the other way. So yeah, I would not recommend that. That's a little scary there. We're gonna pop the waist off. Comes off pretty easy. That's nice. No breakage. And the ankles are amazing. So I always say the Classics ankles are brutal, but at least on these guys, superior, superb, fantastic ankles. Go figure, for guys who aren't really meant to be using those ankles. Maybe it goes the other way. There we go. So that's why that wasn't working. Probably not going to work either. The spinning gimmick, just way too heavy. Not enough even weight distribution, and that's a shame. I guess just the whole idea of no play gimmicks with these Classics figures is a shame, especially when some of those gimmicks were so fun. I can just imagine how much fun it would have been to play with these guys, having them spin all the way around. But just like with Twistoid, you can hold this down, do some spinning. And let's try spinning. That's a neat trick, to quote Anakin. So he's got a little weapon as well, some sort of funky looking axe. I feel like I'm using the word funky a lot, but both of these guys are funky. Definitely funky designs and funky things going on here. This is an interesting axe with an extra chain on it, an extra piece that flails around, so it gives the illusion of movement without actually giving movement. And then there's this alternate base piece, which if you pull this out, you can plug him into I guess any of the three you can plug him into, but let's try that one. And the cool thing about this is kind of a play feature that the other one doesn't have. Let's say you can hold it onto there, and you can do a little bit of rotating here and spin him around. So that's something. That's approaching something resembling a play feature. That's kind of cool. Although I just can't get on board with the half look, the half pint look to these guys. So it just looks like half a figure to me. So despite how nice and accurate they look to the original ones, I will be displaying these guys. I don't have much space left on my Classics shelf, but I've got a few spots left in the She-Ra collection, so maybe these guys will be Ethereans. Definitely Rotar will be. Twistoid, I'll see if I can sneak him in somewhere in with the Horde. And if you do choose to display them in their humanoid form with their legs, you can take these extra base pieces and display them as weapons. This one does have a handle on it with a hilt. It almost looks like a crooked sword. Here's the hilt and there's the handle. It's a pretty cool looking triple bladed saw blade sword. Very unique looking weapon, and the best thing about it, go figure, even though the ankles are great on these guys, you can point it to the ground here and sturdy him. Like the one guy that doesn't need something to sturdy his stance has a sword that reaches to the ground, and it's kind of like a cane that'll hold him up. And then Twistoid also has, once again, go figure, something that'll just ever so slightly touch the ground and stabilize him. But it's cool that you're able to take these weapons that are kind of just bonus accessories, and he can hold it any which way you want. I noticed that if you try to put it in his hand like so, he won't hold it, but then there are these bumps right here, which you just slip one of those bumps into the claw hand, and that'll sturdy it, so you can move the blades wherever you want, one up, one down if you want. So that's the 2015 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Rotar and Twistoid. If you missed out on them, you're lucky, because now you can get them after all these years and for a pretty amazing price. Brand new, mint in box. Shout out to the Patreon tribe. Thanks for providing this channel Patreon power. Welcome to new members Kirk Oldford, Catherine McKittrick, Sean Landry, Scott Brining, and Classic Action Figures. And welcome back Dan71 and Mr. Gabato. And thank you very much for the increased pledges and extra energon to Road Warrior Max and Scuba Pete, who is now Ninja Pete. And thank you to everyone hitting the join button on the channel, becoming a channel member, and getting your custom loyalty badges and custom emojis to use in the comment section and the live stream chat windows. And I'd like to welcome a couple of new channel members as well. Thanks for hitting join. Welcome Classic Action Figures, David Conroy, and Amardeep Singh Man. Enjoy your patches. Feel free to leave a rotating regard in the comment yard. How's my Moss accent, Obi? And to join the tribe, spin subscribe. Nerdmaste.